Um, so and it's happening now. Just trying. So in many senses, I couldn't ask for anything better in a terribly awful, painful exhibition game.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
That was Cooley, Owe, and Pope. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alan Cutler. Honored and pleased to be with you. Thank you for joining me, whether it's now or tonight on podcast or tomorrow morning in all kinds of different cities, which we appreciate tremendously. And it's growing and growing. And thank you. The sky is not falling. My goodness, I don't feel any better or worse about this team today than I did 48 hours ago. Did you all forget? Are you freaking out? Do you remember what Ohio State did to Kentucky? They beat the crap out of them. I was watching a game with my dear friend, Dr. George Ginter, on his farm, and hopefully he's listening in Florida, as we have a whole bunch of people who listen in Florida. And if he is, he's about to laugh at me, but he was going nuts, and I'm going, hey, Ohio State is a football team. They are weightlifters. They beat the crap out of Kentucky. This will change. Now, if you've been with me for a while, when Kentucky beat Western Kentucky last year at Rupp Arena, this is before the Ohio State game, I came on my show and said this is the blueprint to play Kentucky. Western Kentucky was very physical with Kentucky. They just weren't good enough to beat them. And I said it, Jimmy, as you recall, many, 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 many times. I did. It was obvious. And teams were pushing around Kentucky. This is not revisionist history. I was talking about it then. Nobody else on any station was talking about how Western Kentucky was pushing Kentucky around. And it was smart. It was smart. And so, hello, was Kentucky a great physical team last year? No. Do I think they're going to be a great physical team this year? No, but I do think they'll be better. I mean, I love Aberdeen. Where the hell was he? He's got a leg problem. You want to make excuses, guys, out? It is what it is. You want to say this team can't be like last year? That it must be better? Look, I will always say, and I've said it a million times, Butler, Creaser, Robinson, had they been healthy, Kentucky might have beaten Tennessee. They weren't. Kentucky wasn't good enough. It is what it is. The sky is not falling. Now, here's the thing. If this is a trend, the sky is falling. I mean, pretty simple. The sky is falling if it's a trend. It's not going to be a trend. It's just not. There's no question Kentucky couldn't handle the physicality. There's no question when the kids for Cooley were putting their forearms out, Kentucky didn't want any part of it. They didn't. It's not just that Kentucky shot bad, and this makes it worse. I'm really big, and I don't know what you all do when you watch a game, but I've studied this stuff and learned from coaches. They weren't setting their feet oftentimes when they were shooting because they were rushing so much. Now, as bad as Chandler played last night, I'm going to give you a little something that was actually hopeful. First of all, I'm going to tell you the truth. I have no idea if he's going to be a point guard or not. Now, you all are saying probably, definitely not. I'm going to tell you have no idea. I'm going to tell you I don't know. I'm going to tell you I don't know. Guys improve. Would that be my number one position for him? No. Do I love Chandler? Yes. And I can usually predict much better than anybody's shooting percentage once I've watched the guy if they're going to make it or not, just as they set their feet and release, way before you know the ball's going in or not. And Chandler rushed last night. But you know what he did that I really liked? And his effort, by the way, was really good. I'm not saying everybody's effort was really good. Jimmy, he got not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six. He got 7 rebounds. And so with all the garbage going out, I love the fact he got 7 rebounds. Can't stand that he got 5 turnovers. Can't stand it. And as bad as it was, and plus minuses and everything, he was a -7 and the team lost by 14. Just saying. And that would have tied his career high if this was a regular game. And he stunk shooting, and he didn't have confidence. He didn't have confidence, and I'm okay with it. He's going to learn. The best line I've heard came from Jack Goose Gibbons, listening to the postgame show as I was driving home. Jack Goose Gibbons said that Jasper and Marino, they needed seeing eye dogs. Jack Goose Gibbons said that. And by the way, was Jack being mean? No, Jack is never mean. Was Jack being nasty? No, Jack is a lovable ambassador. I've said this for a long time. Jack Gibbons is the number one ambassador for the University of Kentucky. Notice I didn't say sports. He's the best ambassador for the University of Kentucky. There's, in my mind, you're going to have to tell me somebody who's more than that. He loves this place like crazy. He's just being honest. Now, the fact that he said that both Jasper and Marino needed seeing eye dogs last night, does that mean he's down on them? No. I love both those kids. They're going to be fine. They're going to be probably fine pretty quickly. And it's going to be a learning curve. Let's go back in history for a second, just for a second. Y'all remember Tony Delk. So this is how I always remember Tony Delk when his name comes up and something comes up with basketball. It's the positive. I'm covering the national championship game. They're playing Syracuse. And Jimmy, I don't know if you've seen this shot. It's one of the great shots in the history of Kentucky basketball. In the national championship game, he is falling out of bounds, and he hits a three-point shot. He was magnificent in that game. Magnificent. But let's go back in time. When he was a freshman, do you remember that they wanted to make him a point guard? Do you remember? He wasn't very good at the point guard. Tony wasn't a good point guard. He wasn't. Do you remember how people were down on him? This was a great scorer coming out of Tennessee and this, Yeah. Do you remember that Tony was so upset he actually thought about leaving? And by the way, you have to understand, and I've said this a million times, so many more athletes think about leaving than we'll ever find out because they keep it quiet. They just do. They just do. And that's okay, by the way. That's not negative. You're a star. Now you come here or someplace else and you're not a star. And it's depressing and it's all alone and it's pressure. This is normal things in athletics. Gee, how did Tony's career turn out? And by the way, one of the great guys and a great shooter. And as I recall, right, didn't he have over 51 times for Phoenix in the NBA? He had a hell of an NBA career. But if you go back in history, and maybe this will help some of you take a chill pill, Tony didn't have a great freshman year. He questioned why he came here. He hung in there. He hung in there. Come on, y'all. Take a chill pill. You want to know what's terrible? And I don't care that he was terrible last night. I don't care. You mean to tell me you think Cam Williams is going to be this bad? 0 for 5 from threes, which was 0 for 5 from the field, couldn't hit a free throw, had 2 rebounds. He was terrible. Am I down on Cam Williams? Hell no. He was nervous. You could tell sitting upstairs. He was nervous. Do you think he's going to be nervous in January? I sure as hell hope not. Do I expect him to be nervous in January? I do not. I do not. No. Remember, one list had him, which made no sense to me, by the way, and I said it at the time. One list had him picked, I think it was 21, Jimmy. It was somewhere in 2025. It was 21 in next year's draft. And I'm going, how the hell can that be? You know, I get it because he came from a place where he shot lights out as a shooter. You don't think he was nervous and uncomfortable last night? Of course he was. You don't think Jasper Johnson was uncomfortable? Of course he was. Do I think Jasper took some bad shots? Yes. Am I down on Jasper? No. 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 Do I think Brandon Garrison dribbles too much? Yes, I do. I do. Diabate, guess what? You know, he ended up with 13-7 with a -10 plus minus, and he is tough and strong. Aberdeen is tough and strong. They're missing their 3 starters. Is that an excuse? Nope. Because guess what? They should have played much better even without the 3 starters. That's the truth. The guys on the court, they stunk, period. And the guy who had the worst game is the guy who's supposed to be the best player on the team, Owe. Now, I have a theory on Owe. He played 26 minutes last night. I think Pope said after the game that he played like 1 more minute than he was supposed to play him. That's fine. He was 4 for 12. He couldn't finish. He couldn't finish. I really believe he's not in shape yet. I really believe what he did last night was the toughest thing he's done since he hurt himself months and months ago. I don't think he's got his confidence back. I don't think he's got his veracity back. I think he's trying, and I think he's like a car that needs to be tuned up. Is it a big deal? No. No. He missed a long time of playing basketball. When I say playing basketball, I'm talking about the ferocity of the intensity of playing basketball. And here's something else. The Georgetown kids, give them credit. They pushed him around, and they got away with a bunch of fouls that weren't called. Now, you're not going to like this, but I'm going to say it anyway, because this is no filter. A lot of what you might think are fouls weren't called. I'm okay with it. What I would like to see is another game like that where Kentucky is so physical and you don't call it against Kentucky. I thought Georgetown was physical and clean, really clean. I saw nothing that was dirty, and I liked it. Cooley's been great forever. He really has. He's been a great coach forever. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Fame coach, but his kids play hard. They play together. He's a smart, tough man. I have a lot of respect for him. I have a ton of respect for him years ago when he really changed things around at Providence. So, no, last night is no big deal. It really isn't to me. And if it's a big deal to you, I'm okay. I got no problem with it. It's all good. Did I predict this? No, of course not. I did not. I actually think it's a good thing. So, Jimmy, would you believe because of last night's game, I stuck my foot in my mouth really bad? Would you believe that Alan Cutler would do that?
I mean, I could see it. Yeah.
Thanks, pal. So I'm walking out and walking across the street from Rupp. And this gentleman, I think he's about my age, walking with his wife. They're holding hands. Very nice. And I was walking across the street. He said, hey, Alan, what'd you think? And I said, hey, there was no toughness. They got the blank beat out of him. But it's not a big deal because this is so much better than playing Transy. Jimmy, guess where he played college basketball?
Transy.
I started apologizing. And he goes, the Lanes wouldn't be very happy with you. Something like that. I went, hey, I'm really sorry, whatever. And he goes, I agree with you, by the way. This is better than playing Transy. By the way, I looked him up. His name is Kurt Robertson. And by the way, he had a hell of a career at Transy. Then he says, by the way, can I ask you a question? I'm going, uh-oh. I had a bad feeling. I had no idea it'd be this bad, but I had a bad feeling. I said, sure. Do you remember you called the Transy game in 1984? Who remembers that I called the Transy game in 1984? Okay, because he played on the team. Okay. He said, I've always wanted to ask you this question. Now I'm going, what? Okay. He said they played Bellarmine. He said, do you remember you got so mad at the other SID, people saying you wanted to beat the crap out of the SID? And I started laughing, and I said, now I do remember it. I had forgotten about it. I have never dealt, I can't remember the guy's name, and it's not important. I've never dealt with another school that they refuse to give you stats. Jimmy, can you imagine somebody refusing to give you stats?
No.
And I called, 3-4 days before, just typical stuff. We did one Transy game a year and called, and the guy wouldn't return a phone call. And I called a couple times, no return phone call. So as soon as they walked in the gym, I said, hey, very nice. I'm doing the game tonight. I'm Alan Cutler. Nice to meet you. Can I have some stats? And he said, no. I went, what? And I asked a couple times, and I ripped him during the telecast too. And after the game, I got in his face. And so he was, and I don't regret what I did. I really don't. Who doesn't give anybody stats? It's this Transy Bellarmine is a nice, positive local game. Okay. I've never dealt with another human being in sport. Most people in sports formation are really nice and really helpful. I mean, this is unbelievable. But Jimmy, think about it. And so he's friends with Ryan Lemon. So he said, I've been meaning for years to call Ryan to get to you to see if you remembered that. Yeah, it's better than playing for Transy.
Isn't that funny, though? The foot and mouth moment that you had led to that conversation would have never came up.
Never came up at all.
Put your foot in your mouth.
Yeah, he was 1980 to 84. So I didn't ask him, but it's after I looked his stats up last night. He had a start. I think it said he was like number 22 in the history of number 22 in the history of Transy in scoring when he graduated. I don't know where he is now, but I thought it was interesting. We're going to get back to the game in a second, but I got to say this. I'm smiling right now because of this. I am so happy about this. And one of these days, he's going to become a GM without the interim tag. So, look, I don't know Chris Greer. He was fired by the Dolphins. He was a general manager. He's been there since 2000 and worked his way up and that kind of stuff. And Miami sucks. They're dysfunctional. If they keep McDaniel, although they said he's going to coach the rest of the year, if they keep him next year, I will be shocked. It's not the point. The point is this. Champ Kelly, one of the kindest, nicest human beings to ever play football at Kentucky, who does so many things for kids and is so kind and considerate and smart. And when he was with the Bears, as he was moving up the ladder, one of the things he was really good at is going to the small schools and getting guys that were overlooked. And some of them became really good players with the Bears. He just had a niche. He really understands talent. He's from Florida. I think in the first year he did our show, and Jimmy, you had a tie with him, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, his wife, and I think where he was born and raised is about an hour north of where I grew up in Panama City, Florida, and his champ camps that he also does in Lexington, he just happened to do one in Panama City in 2016 that I volunteered at the radio station that I was there, and he was great. I met him a little bit beforehand and talked to him a little bit after, and he is just stand-up guy. I will always root for Champ Kelly wherever he goes.
Literally, forget that he played football at UK. One of the nicest, kindest, caring human beings I have ever met. Literally, like ever met. And it's interesting. He's the interim GM, but, Jimmy, I know you're big on, trying to trade for somebody for your team and that kind of stuff. They've got a number of players, as, for example, New England just dumped a couple players. I'm not going to get involved with it. It's not that important to do 2 minutes on it, but they just dumped a couple guys that are pretty good veterans, but they weren't starting, so they're trying to get some draft choices. Even though New England is better, they're saying, okay, you're not starting. I think they have younger players in. They want more draft choice. It makes sense. So Miami, having a crappy year, they have 3 players at least that people are going to want. And guess who's got to make those decisions? Champ Kelly. So that means they trust him enough to put him in that seat. And he didn't get the general manager job with the Raiders. He was assistant GM. Unless my memory's bad, he was also assistant GM with the Bears. He moved up and up and up to that level. And then he became the interim GM. And it really broke my heart that he didn't become the general manager with the Raiders. But they made this comment. I remember we love him so much. We want him to stay here as that kind of thing. Maybe he'll get his chance this time. And I got nothing against his career, and I don't wish bad on anybody. But now that the change was made, I'm really pushing, not a little, but pushing really, really, really hard for Champ Kelly. Anybody who knows Champ Kelly loves Champ Kelly. Let's go to Mo Diabate. Jimmy, when you have clip number 1, give me a thumbs up. That was quick. And so, look, should I say this? You know what I was thinking about in the second half? I started thinking this was like the Georgetown game in 1984. I was there in Seattle, Jimmy. I covered the game. Kentucky scored like 11 points in the second half. And really, at the half, I thought they were going to win. I think everybody else did, too. They did a nice job against Patrick Ewing. Seriously. And then they were 3 for 33 in the second half. I will never, ever, ever, ever. They couldn't buy one. They lost, 53-40 or 54-40, whatever it was. It was one of those 2 things. I need to look it up.
And what year did that game happen? 1984?
1984.
And how many points did Georgetown score last night? 84?
When you said that, I froze because I'm going wholly blank.
Matthew and I talked with Jeff Drummond during our show, and Jeff said, we just need to stop playing Georgetown in the second half of games. But he's the one that that told us the connection, 1984 and 84 points last night. So props to Jeff figuring that out. Big
props to Jeff. And I paused on you because when you said it, I knew what you meant. And I said to myself, why didn't I think of that? Wow. Do people remember how John Thompson was kind of a recluse? One of the great coaches of all time. And a pioneer and a recluse, and he didn't take crap for anybody. One of the stories I did when we were out there, we couldn't find the team. Now think about this. It's the Final Four, and you can't find the team. Does that make any sense?
No.
Okay, this is going on forever. There's a hotel that's designated for every particular team, right? So I heard a rumor that they weren't staying in a hotel. We were looking for a goofy story, so we went to the hotel. And guess what? They weren't there. And then the manager says, why don't you go check this hotel? And we went to like 4 hotels. What John Thompson did, he took his team out of town because he didn't want any distractions. John Thompson was crazy. He was brilliant. He was brilliant. He stood up to all kinds of racism. One of the great men with toughness and also kindness. Jimmy, you got me frozen on the 84. That really has me frozen. 84, they scored 84 points last night. Okay, a couple things about last night. A lot of it was absolutely unequivocally Georgetown defense. But I got to tell you, the Kentucky kids, they just close to panicking with some of their shots. They had trouble at times getting it off to the end of the shot clock, and you can tell they were just jacking stuff up. Watch the feet. Chandler has as good of a form. He and Noah have the two best forms on the team when it comes to shooting, okay? And when you watch their feet, you can usually tell if they're going to make it or not. You can tell. And the one he made after he was so bad, I said, oh, he's going to make this one. And he did. It's not genius on my part. I've been studying this for decades, and decades. He rushed. So if you think Chandler is going to rush for the rest of the year, you're right. He's not going to be very good. You're right. There's no way. Chandler is going to make money playing professional ball, I think, forever if that's what he wants to do. I really believe that. I've said it before. I haven't changed my mind. In fact, he got 7 rebounds on a night that it was awful for him. I mean, awful for him. It tells you how hard he was playing. This is Mo Diabate, who quietly, it's the kind of game, stats-wise, I think he's going to have a lot. When he plays about 25 minutes, which he did, he had 13 points and 7 rebounds. He had 3 steals, 3 of the 6 steals. He did have a couple of turnovers, but he's a strong young man. He talked about shooting, and you could feel that he was concerned, at least for last night, the confidence in the players that were shooting.
Sure, just be confident with it. I don't feel like we played, like I said, pretty confident. And just sticking to the basics. I'm excited, man. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the next game. I think we need this kind of game. We missing some guys, but we have enough talent to win a game like this. So that shouldn't be a mistake for us. But I'm just excited for the next game. We're gonna show up.
More with Diabate. And he doesn't think what happened last night is going to be a problem. He doesn't think what happened last night is going to be a trend. He doesn't think so. I don't think so. And if you don't think so, I wonder how many people had to take an extra shot of their blood pressure medicine this morning in the state of Kentucky and in different states, as is Kentucky fans all over. I really, it'd be interesting. And hopefully everybody's blood pressure is good, that when Kentucky plays a game like this, somebody who takes blood pressure medicine, they take their blood pressure before the game and after the game. I worry about the health sometimes of people. You probably think that's crazy, right? But Mo doesn't think clip number 2 that last night is going to be a trend.
No, I don't think that should be a problem for that's going to be a big emphasis, big emphasis. Obviously, we're missing some guys, but teams are they're gonna know us to share, for defense. So I think it was just it was kind of just a game for us to just see that we can't take any days off, no matter who we play at all.
Look, it's pretty simple. And no disrespect to Trancey. I got friends at Trancey, love Trancey. It's a great school. The Lanes have done unbelievably so. Think about the last 4 or 5 coaches there going back a gazillion years, from Rose to CM Newton, whatever. It's such a classy place. I'm not being negative. Brian Lane, if he's listening, or Donnie Lane will agree with me too. They played Trancey last night. Jimmy, they win by 50 points. Do you think for a second that Colin Chandler gets exposed? No. Do you think that the forearms of Trancey kids would show and display and hit Kentucky would bother them? No. So guess what? And I've said this forever. When they play the cupcake games, forgetting about the preseason games, it's just BS. I've said it since I got here in the early 1980s. It doesn't help Kentucky. It doesn't help the players. The players want to play really good games. Players don't want to play the Transies and the Georgetowns. They just don't. And I've talked to enough players about it. They want to play big games. This is Rupp Arena, and you want to be challenged. You want the atmosphere really good. So What Chandler did last night would never have happened if it's transient. Matter of fact, he could have had a career high. Think about it. He tied his career high if this was a regular game. He tied it. It's fascinating. So guess what? This problem would have occurred during the season. This was a really good thing for Kentucky last night. It really was. I wasn't upset at the half. At the 12-minute mark, I knew Kentucky was in trouble. Did I think it'd be at a point where they were down 17? No, but I knew they were in trouble. It was pretty obvious. 15:50 to go, and I went, uh-oh, there is trouble. It's pretty obvious. I'll tell you what else is pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that if you're looking for a vehicle, that the place to turn to is the Quantrill Auto Group. I trust them. We now have not one, not two, but 3 vehicles from the Quantrill Auto Group. The latest, the XC60, the hybrid Volvo, that my wife has let me drive one time. It is so smooth. It's crazy how smooth it is. It's a beautiful car. And Judy has figured out, Jimmy, that I've said on the show that she loves the car more than me. And you know what? I didn't get a strong negative reaction to that.
No denial.
I could have used a stronger denial. No, honey, that's, in that sarcastic tone of voice that you get that, it's not working. Anyway, the XC60, the Volvo, is spectacular. What I like is how they've dealt with me going back over a dozen years. And don't forget about the Outback, special car by Subaru, 0% interest for 36 months. If you want to spread it out to 72, it's 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget the Quantrill family of dealerships, the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise to get you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks. The Quantrill Auto Group. Chris Chenault coming up next. My buddy, he's going to be shy, isn't he? Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrill Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank, time to thrive. Member FDIC.
No! Outside, great selection of snacks is fully steady. Services rounding up the back. You're rounding a turn. And it's Clark's Pump and Shop.
Get in the winner's circle with Clark's Pump and Shop. Stop by and pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99, or Rolade sticks. Buy one, get one free. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Buy and Google, Monday through Friday.
Started to experience the game, and I was gathering each game and whatnot each day. But personality, someone, I don't trust him. He does the job. I'm proud to watch him.
Interesting comment by Big Pete. Welcome back, Alan Cutler, 13 AM, 92.5 FM, because at New Mexico State a couple of years ago, they went to Auburn and beat Auburn, and he was talking about Cutler and that he's young and getting better, and these guys really like blocking for him. And he says he does some one-on-one counseling with Cutler, and if Big Pete is talking to you, he's a super intelligent young man. He is, let's put it this way, Christian Alt would love him because their philosophies about toughness in life are really so similar. So he's counseled them. And then one of the things that he said, which I thought was fascinating, and I thought this would happen. I didn't know if anybody would admit it, but when you go from New Mexico State, sure, you've played in Auburn, whatever, but the speed every week in the SEC, it's just different. And the guys are just bigger and they're just stronger. It's just different. And he said, and I loved his honesty, that he's had to adjust to the speed of this league. And he thinks he is. And the other guys who came in from other places are as well. That was a great comment. Thought it was an honest comment. And the line has done a nice job. Let's put it this way. If they don't go to a bowl game, it ain't because of the offensive line. And I applaud some of those kids and their toughness. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, number 2 in tackles in the history of the University of Kentucky. Look at that. Look at that big smile when I say that. In the history of the University of Kentucky, in the UK Athletics Hall of Fame, the one, the only, Christian Alt. Hello, Chris.
How you doing? My chatty patty wife popped her head in here from eating breakfast and just she doesn't recognize sign language.
Does your wife listen to you on radio, or she says she hears you?
She criticizes everything I do.
What's the worst thing your wife has said about you when you've appeared on my show, which I appreciate? Plus, it's a lot of fun, I think, for both of us.
Keep telling people, stop telling people, why are you staring at me? Quit telling people I eat boogers when I was a kid.
You only did that one time. Now you brought it up.
I know it. It's a classic, though.
By the way, that was a classic story, that as a kid you eat boogers and you were disappointed and didn't believe me when I said I didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't. And then why are you staring at me?
By the way, you're talking to your wife, not me.
Yes, I'm talking to my wife because she's got that smirk and I know when I'm in trouble. So let's carry on.
You got to concentrate here now, if that's cool.
I'm here.
I'm here. You're here, brother. He's shooing his wife away. You're a brave man. I wouldn't get away with that. Okay, so I don't mean to be mean, but Kentucky and Auburn is the fireball. Yes. To me, there's no doubt about it that Freeze will not survive. And I think mathematically speaking, although it's possible, it ain't happening for Stoops, and they're not going to go to a bowl game. And I've said this many times. If Kentucky, and I hope they win out, so please, I don't think they're going to win out. I don't think it's possible they can win out. But, I've been fooled before, and so have you. But if they lose to Auburn, it's mathematically possible, but forget it. And so, therefore, you got to fire Stoops. Let's put it this way. If they have made a decision firing Stoops after tomorrow and they don't win a game for the rest of the year, it's 100%. Not 85%. It's 100% that Stoops won't be back. It's 100%. It's as obvious as the nose on my face. They'll come up with the money somehow, and you can't continue. By the same token, too, because these kids haven't quit, which I applaud them, and I applaud Stoops because they quit on him, and you were very poignant pointing that out really hard last year because you were really ticked off. And I love it when you have passion, whether I agree or disagree, although we end up agreeing way too much, and I worry about you with that. But they quit against Louisville, really quit. And when I say it, I know I've got credibility, but when you say it, you played the game. And you played the game at a high level. And I honestly believe, I'm not knocking myself, but I think it means more when somebody like you says it. And people need to know, I can't twist Chris' arms about anything. You got to be kidding me. Chris could probably still pick me up with one hand. Well, I'm too fat. That's not the point. The point is, you said they quit against Louisville. Give Stoops credit. Give the team credit. These kids haven't quit. So therefore, I'm saying it's mathematically possible, partly for respect for these kids. Is that fair?
It is. I think I hope he wins out and I hope they don't fire him if they lose the next game. I want my money's worth. I want him to take it to the end, and they don't have to keep him. And I don't think they will after this season with everything's going on with these. We can't be the only one to not do a big buyout. Everybody's going to look at them like they're not committed to football. It's getting that narrative, in my opinion, right now.
Oh, stop. I want you to. That's a great comment. When you say something that good, I got to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
If they lose out and Kentucky doesn't buy out Stoops, One, it'll be close to impossible recruiting because whoever they're recruiting against will say, hell, they don't really care about football. Everybody else bought out their coaches and they lost the rest of their games and they kept the coach. That's a losing program. You don't want to be there. Now, it's not me saying it. I'm telling you, other coaches will say that. I'm telling you, and you agree with that. It was a really good point, Chris.
The main thing is that it's going to come down to recruiting and the NIL money. I think they can do a what you call an Indiana, and if they bring in the right person, but they can't wait because at the end of this season, this coaching carousel is going to be a frenzy. I don't think those. I was listening to the governor of Ellis, Louisiana yesterday, and he was talking about the high prices of these buyouts and how they want a board to pick the next coach. My main thing is scholarships are year to year, right?
They are now.
Same way
Has
to
been
go.
for decades. So,
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it, and I've said this many times, but I'm so glad you brought it up. If you want kids not to be able to transfer after every year, you must give the kids multi-year scholarships. In the old days, it was 4. I broke this story 1,000 years ago, and that's how I broke it. Roderick Rhodes. You remember Roderick Rhodes?
Yes.
I broke this story exclusively that Roderick Rhodes was dumped. I didn't use dumped on TV that night, but he was dumped by Kentucky because they didn't renew his scholarship. So that's
Correct. I
a
remember that.
1,000 years ago. So this rule has been in place for a long time. There's a fairness issue here. If I don't think kids should be allowed to transfer every year. I really don't, but that's the rule adults screwed up. But then you owe the kid something in return. Suppose you said 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is. It's like the players now need to have some damn representation instead of adults who screwed this up, going ba 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 ba. Hey, we're shoving this on you kids. No. So if you want to say that a kid can transfer twice, that means you have to give him a multi-year scholarship. Fair is fair, don't you think?
Correct. They do a 2-year term, and my main thing with these kids receiving money, we used to have an academic advisor at UK called Catch. I mean, they got you up. You went to your tutors if you needed one. Everything was provided for you. They need a financial advisor to get with some of these kids and make some sound investments so they can have a brighter future. And I think now it's just not the top tier kids getting that money. 40,000 to a kid for a year, he would think he's rich and not know it. But if you invest that and wait, you get a great start on life.
Not only that, but the tax implications when you have a young person, or it could be an old person, take
Sure.
that 40,000 and you spend it all, and now Uncle Sam wants their
His
cut,
share.
which
Yeah.
is fair. And now you say, I have no money. I'm really surprised that we haven't heard of some cases, and I know it's privacy, but we both know things leak. And I'm not just saying Kentucky. I'm talking anywhere where a couple kids almost had to go to jail or something because the IRS wants their money. They want your money. They don't care if you're 19, you made money. They want their money. That's
Yes.
how it is. Now, I know UK does this. I don't know to what extent, and I'm assuming everybody is giving financial advice to these kids. And Cal was very good about it. And that was the kind of thing Cal was really good at. People talk to him and that kind of stuff about putting money away in taxes.
Well, not to interrupt you, but the main thing with that is, I don't care who you are. You give me $40,000, unless you my mom or pops, I'm not listening to you. So they've got to make it like a family effort. Look, this kid, say if he Cutter, whatever he gets next year. I don't want all that responsibility. I want him to play ball. Is either gonna don't Tim Couch have his brother representing him?
Yeah,
I want somebody who's invested in me as a person.
Right.
In on that meeting. That way, I don't have to worry about that. I can play football. Because if you mix finances with playing football at that early age, you're not going to reach your top level because you're becoming an adult too quick, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree with you because, you are supposed to study.
Yes.
You might have a girlfriend or boyfriend. You might have aches and pains. You might have lifting during a week. The demands on these athletes, it's tremendous and good for them, but it is tremendous and they need some help. Look, there'd be some families that, like, for example, Cutter, I would assume his dad could handle it. But there
Right.
are some families, there is nobody to handle it. And therefore, they need help for their own protection. For example, it's good if you can go out to dinner occasionally, that kind of stuff. But I've heard a couple things where some of these guys making money, they're going out and getting these fancy steaks every single night and not every single night, but a lot, when you can get a really good steak on the house at UK. And it's great for some of the great restaurants in town as a treat, but not as something you do all the time, no matter how much money you're making, because you should put that money away.
You save it for the rainy day. Best compliment my dad ever gave me, he says, "You a Scrooge little person." I took every 50 cent he gave me, threw it in a big old jar, and waited to find something I wanted. Because if I don't need it, I would probably buy it just for the fact that I had the money, and I want somebody to stop me from that. No advisor is going to stop me. That somebody in my face that's kin to me, no, take it and put it here, put it in this investment. And the thing about it is, you can't go wrong with real estate because it never gets old, and it's always there.
And which
I
you
would,
have done.
I would have took my father's model on how he raised me, and I raised my kids the same way. My dad grew up. We had like 4 rental properties, and he dragged me along to help work on them and stuff. Took my brother with him. I couldn't go on the roof under the house or cut the grass because I was kind of clumsy as a kid. But everything
You
else, like paint. Oh please, I got hit by so many cars. I think St. Joseph and UK knew me by first name. Here come that Chanel kid again. Yeah, this was downtown, flipped up a bicycle, split my head open, riding around. But then I had an afro, so it was just a trickle. Man, you bleeding? I said, no. So yeah, they sit me down. There wasn't no cell phones then. We had to go inside an establishment to call my parents to come and get me, and then describe. 9-year-old kids describing to your parents, where are you at when you're supposed to be no more than 2 blocks from the street? I'm downtown by Rupp Arena. Ooh, you talking about stitches and butt whooping? Yeah, that's how it went.
the next coach, if there is a change. I'm not saying I'm against this because that's not fair. Okay. It's one thing to be a head coach on a lower level, and it's something else to be a head coach in the Southeastern Conference. And I think part of the problem, some of these really good coordinators, now Stoops did it. He did it. Of course, you know, he was raised to be a coach from the time he was about 3 with his brothers and whatever, so he was ingrained. I'm not saying I wouldn't hire a big-time assistant. I'm not saying that. But let's say you're a big-time assistant and you're great as an offensive coach. You've never run an organization. This is a different job than being, let's say, the head coach of one side of the ball. And again, I'm not saying I wouldn't hire a coordinator from a big-time school because some of them end up being great. But in the last 15 years, as you know, and I think most people listening, the game has changed.
Yes.
You're a CEO of a corporation. If you're an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, it's forget it. It's not the same thing at all. And that first year is a tremendous learning curve. I don't care how much you are ready for this or how much your boss, the head coach, keyed you in on it. So I'm not saying I wouldn't hire assistant here. I'm not saying that. But I would actually look for, if I couldn't get a big name, which you're probably not going to get here, somebody, I don't know why I'm thinking about James Madison, but they've been really successful. Somebody on that level who's a really good really good coach. I'd tend towards offense instead of defense, but that's me. But I would hire a really good defensive coordinator, but they've already run an organization. And I think that's really important, more so today than 30, 40 years ago when it was totally different. Social media and all the demands and all the money and this, that, and the other. I wonder how much coaching Saban did the last couple of years, and I've wondered if that had something to do with saying, you know, enough because I'm managing stuff. I just wonder. And so I know there's some, I'll tell you this, I've had multiple people, and it'd be great for him. Will Stein wants the job if the job is open. Will Stein, you know, his dad was a walk-on here at Kentucky and played the defensive line, and he's a brilliant young offensive coordinator at Oregon. And I'm not saying this to him personally. I'm just saying it's not an easy thing. I will say this, though. Let's take Will Stein out of it. And my rant will stop in a second. If you're the coordinator at an Oregon, or if you're a coordinator at an Ohio State, or if you're a coordinator, at an Alabama, you get to work with better talent than most people. And that will often make you look like a much better coach than you really are. What Bush Hamdan has done here, and I credit him, and he's taken so much crap, and I think I'm the only person saying this, they changed the whole freaking offense in the last month. They changed the whole offense during the year at Kentucky because this kid can now, I think he's thrown, at least 35 passes the last 3 games. I got it in my notes here somewhere. The point is, if you would have told me in August that Stoops would have a quarterback throwing the ball this much, I'm going, you got rocks in your head. They changed the offense for this kid during this season. That's a commending to Bush. The point is this, what I'm trying to say is you got to be careful when you're vetting coordinators. Can you handle being a CEO Oh,
I want to hit the ground running, and I agree with your point. Offensive coordinator, he's going to have all that coming at him in the first time. He's not going to want to mess it up. And I want a head coach who's going to come in straight with tunnel vision. I need to recruit. I got my quarterback. I need some receivers. And my main thing with Stoops and his staff, and I hope you probably agree with this, I saw Cutter with it before the season, and just by listening and watching people and the little highlights and stuff. Why couldn't I don't believe they they paid for that quarterback and they want it's just like when you have a high value draft pick, you want to give him every shot. Cutter should have been the starter from the beginning. I would wonder what our record would be with him starting from the beginning of the season and that confidence rising and the people getting familiar with him. Um, I hope the next coach comes in here has a nice up and coming coordinator that's going to be here. That's not going to be once we get off our hump, which I think we will. I think we can turn around within a year or two with the right coach and the right attitude as far as the players. The players are gun ho, but I think the same thing can't be said about Stoops. I think he's looking over his shoulder, waiting for that call, and that's a terrible way to feel.
well, I think he was looking over the shoulder for another reason. I've pointed this out many times. The second one I talked to you about, but the other day when they went for two and he was questioned about it, and then he said that it was the analytics who said it, and he thought, I don't remember if he said it was dumb or stupid or he didn't like it, but he was very much against it, but did it anyway. And to me, the man's lost his way.
Yeah.
Analytics are there for a purpose. He said he didn't have enough time to analyze it from there. That's a paraphrase. I'm going, you're a head freaking coach. You should make that decision in 1 second. The analytics said this, my gut says this, I'm going with my gut.
Correct.
And when you then say you go for two, even though you thought it was the wrong thing, you have lost your way. You have lost your confidence. I think Mark Stoops has lost his confidence. And somebody told me the other day, you should shut up. I'm sorry. Here's the proof in the pudding. The man said he did something he didn't like, and he did it because of analytics. So has he been told by Mitch Barnhart, which I don't believe, by the way. I don't believe Mitch Barnhart would tell Stoops you have to do everything by analytics. I just don't think Mitch microwaves like that, manages like that. I don't think he does. So let's get Mitch out of this, and let's be kind to Mitch, even though could it have changed? Yes, I would be shocked if Mitch Barnhart said that to Stoops. Taking that out of the equation, then, that means he can't make a decision. You're a head coach. You should be able to make, I'll give you 2 seconds at most to make a decision on extra point or not. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. That's it.
It's scripted. I mean, if you follow the game and you looking at your players and that player's reaction, and you know what you got in your team, and I understand having confidence in the offense and said, we're just going to ram it down your throat. It ain't working. Naked bootleg, play action, would have walked in. Because they didn't have just 8 in the box. They had 11 in the box. And the thing about, and then we didn't use the tight end. You could have faked that play action and just throw the little Tim Tebow thing over. The options, there were so many options there. And the people where I was at, they were seeing the same things, and the chance was terrible. It was Charles Barkley terrible, but the thing about it is that last game, the Tennessee game, I actually felt something in my heart to it. It was just the fans was down, and I realized I have more fun when everybody's in blue, because Tennessee fans, no offense against them, but they suck. And that whole stadium was so many Tennessee fans, and the people who were sitting next to me must have sold their tickets, because there's no way that I sit in a crowd and I look like a blue dot. I literally got up and went on a concourse because I didn't want to. You can't say nothing these days because somebody filming now, I might get canceled. And so that was a terrible game for me. It broke my heart.
You were a blue dot in your section.
My section, 16, and everybody who normally sits there. Next game, Florida, right? It better be all blue. God,
Well,
if I got some.
Florida's having a crappy year, so they won't travel. I'll go one step further. And I said this at the time, and you can't prove it, but it's just pretty obvious.
Right.
Had Tennessee beat Alabama, there'd have been thousands and thousands and thousands more Tennessee fans. And I thought the Tennessee fans It was actually bigger than I expected because they just came off a loss, but they love coming here, as everybody knows, because they expect to win. It's not a long drive, all that kind of stuff. So you can go home with a victory. So I expected a big crowd, but I really thought at Tennessee come into here off a win. Oh my gosh. I thought that Kentucky fans would be the minority.
Yeah, it was, just, and then the thing about it, what was it? The third quarter, you could hear a ant fart in that stadium as far as Kentucky fans. I mean, it was just Tennessee, and then they started playing Rocky Top, and Rocky Top, and that's what I'm listening to as I walk it back to the K Club because I finished the rest of it on TV so I could really look at the offensive line and defensive line. And I always tape the games just to see the people's reaction, who's running to the ball. And I like to see once a tackle's made, how many defenders are around it. That's how I determine if a team's giving up. They're playing hard. The coaching staff's got to meet that. They get that tunnel vision. We can go down there and beat Auburn. And if he runs it out, go out on a high note. I mean, sometimes he gave us 10 good years. But I think after the Texas A&M fiasco and the way things going now and his answers, he's not even making eye contact. He's looking down like he's searching for his answers. It's time to move on. Nothing bad, but it's time to move on.
Everything has a shelf life, right?
Oh yeah. And the thing about this, look at the nation. Everybody's firing the coach because how you gonna say you're a football team or school apart? You support your football team when you won't commit to the team and their fans. 56 million, 47. I know they high, whatever, but UK has a right to they should be good in both. And we had that for a while, and it felt good. The basketball team's playing better, but you live by the three, you die by the three. I've been paying attention on that basketball note. Yeah. I still think that they're going to have a good season, but football-wise, I'm ready for this weekend. And I hope they come out gangbusters because I think Cutler's got an arm on him. And
go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
That wide receiver number one, that's another person should be started. I mean, if you get talent, and I don't care if they're freshmen, let them play. I mean, all we're doing is filling out what next year what we need for our grocery list. If I got a kid on that, I ain't seen him play, I'm putting him in that wide receiver. He can play. Okay, I need two more like him, and that's what you're looking at.
Actually, there's two other freshmen who might be close, and you're going to see the freshmen play a ton. Here's the thing about Miller: he was hurt early on.
Right.
Okay. So, but 5 catches for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns is spectacular, but it's even better in my opinion, because how many times does a guy catch 5 balls, but they threw him 8 passes? That doesn't mean it was his fault. Doesn't mean it was a quarterback fault. Could be a combination, but it was 5 for 5 with Cutler. That is huge. And by the way, he's a big kid. He's listed as 6'3" and 204. So even if he's 6'2" and 198, whatever, he's got nice size. He's got really nice speed. He's got wonderful hands. And let me tell you, if he has another game or two like that, he's going to get offered a ton of money to leave here.
Yeah. And the thing about this, how bad do you want it? Do we want a winning football team? I want to wear my football shirts wherever I go. I'm going to be in Gatlinburg next month for my birthday, and I'm going to wear my Tennessee, and I hope I don't get asked a bunch of questions.
You know, wear your Kentucky stuff, right?
Yeah, I go everywhere. I'm going to represent,
Okay, last one. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you hate Rocky Top? Give me the number and explain.
I'd give it a 8 for the simple fact I don't have that much hate in me for nobody. And the thing about it, if I was a Tennessee person, I'd be playing it too because that's the type of person I am. But to be on the other end of that, it just eats me up every single time. And I just want it one time on a home field to play on you okay and drown out. That's the main thing. We didn't drown out that Rocky Top song. What happened to our band? I mean, we could have hit them with anything. Give me the Superman or Batman theme or something. But we did not drown out Rocky Top. And that's a devastating sound effect to be sleeping and hearing it. Down on Rocky Top. Yeah. Let's move up to a 9. Yeah. About a 9.
You're the best.
Rocky Top. Rocky.
We're out of time, but next week,
yes, yeah.
Join us, which I always appreciate. It's fun. I'm going to ask you a little basketball. Let's see if you're ready.
Oh, I had my stats and everything. I was
Really?
ready for you. Yeah, I'm ready. I'll be ready.
Okay. Okay. I
All
believe
right.
when you say that tone of voice will be ready, I know you're
Yeah.
going to be ready.
All right.
Real quick, I got 10 seconds. They beat Auburn or no?
I think we beat Auburn. Close. I really do. Because I'm going to be in front of them with my hoagie, my Dr. Pepper, no sugar. I'm ready for this game. And I think they're going to be ready. The guys on that team, they're not going to go back. They when Stoops got here, well, it was actually Brooks, and they knocked that monkey off his back of getting so close and about ready to go down the hill. We're down the hill, but the thing about this, we're not getting to the next hill.
You
which
still have
is-
ESPN? I don't have ESPN.
I do. I have everything, if you know
Okay.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, sports. Yeah, I watch every single sport. I'm
No,
a sports addict. And
ESPN,
news.
ESPN is off YouTube. It's off YouTube. Disney channels are off. They took them off.
Is that why I wasn't getting nothing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this negotiation, sometimes it's quick and sometimes it's, look, when the Reds had a problem with their TV network, Ohio never came back to that system. Never in all these years. In all these years. And I wonder if ESPN will play hardball because they're pushing their app a lot. And so they might want the direct money. I don't have any idea. But I'm telling you, it's not an accident that this thing was set up the day before big football games.
Yeah, they do it every time. That's one reason why I let Spectrum go, because they didn't make it out, and I missed some football. And that's all I was waiting for. You get all their time with no football, and then when it starts, they're gonna pull something like that. I mean, that's a great strategy, but for your average fan, you lose them. They lost me.
They don't care about us. Stop it.
Yeah.
You're too smart for that. Hey,
go ahead.
Bless you, brother. Have a great week. Hope we talk next week. And I hope you're telling me next week that's one in a row now in the games he had to win or he's going to get fired. And let's make it 2 in a row. I hope you have veracity and we will talk some basketball next week.
All right. Y'all see you later. Be nice, America.
By the way, I don't know if you heard it. We stuck that in the open.
All right. Here's the ending. Be nice to each other, America. Peace.
Jimmy, can you add that and switch it? Because I like when he said peace at the end. We need to add that for money. God bless you, Chris. You're the best.
All right. Take it easy.
Dude. That was really good. He theatrically knew what to do. Are we surprised?
No.
No, it's Chris. I'll tell you who else is wonderful. Elliott Services. Check them out. If you need an electrician, anything concerned to that part of your world, which I did, they're great. Elliott Services, 100% employee owned with licensed, background checked, and non-commission-based technicians. And the success of their job, hey, that means the company does well because it's employee owned. Residential heating and air conditioning, including installation, maintenance, repairs, whatever, replacements, home generator services in anything, home electrical handyman services in anything, EV charging installation maintenance, which they took care of me. Heating and air preventative maintenance programs to multi-point inspections, voice and data Wi-Fi solutions, underground utilities, HVAC systems, buy, sell, fix, whatever, service and installation of traditional heat pumps, split systems, gas furnaces, ductless mini splits, whatever. They do stuff I don't even understand what it is. Whatever it is, they do it. Electrical renovations and fix-ups. Elliott Services, they've taken care of me. I can recommend them highly personally, because of how they've taken care of me. 859-255-5788. 859-255-5788. Van Hiles coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
On the outside, great selection of snacks is fully steady while the services rounding up the pack. They're rounding a turn. And it's Clark's Puppet Shop.
Get in the winner's circle with Clark's Pumpkin Shop. Stop by and pick up Sour Patch or Swedish Fish peg bags, 2 for $6, or Jack Lynch Jerky, 3 1/4-ounce bags, 2 for $11. Clark's Pumpkin Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0% That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal! 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quattro family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together. And the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
W223CV Lexington.
ESPN Sports Radio 1392.5, WLXG Lexington, and LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
I think Jason's doing a good job into developing into a complete player. I think you get to the college level and even goes another way, like in the pass game. If a running back can the pass game, it's kind of like so if you can't do the pass game, sometimes it's like playing with 10 guys. And so I just feel like Seth's done a tremendous job. I think he's leaned on Seth and waiting for Seth. His time with Demi as well. He just keeps getting better. He doesn't say a whole lot. But he's kind of an old school player. Just keeps going to work and it's improving.
JP, I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks he needs to play more. And when I put that on Twitter, some guy says, no, I don't want him to start. The starter's better. I never said that. He should get snaps every single week between his rushing and receiving yards. He had over 90. Patterson had over 90. It's crazy. And he's got that shakeability and speed that the first two backs don't have. And I don't know why the hell it's taken so long. He got more playing time because of an injury again. He needs to get X number of snaps every day at every game for the third running back if all three happen to be healthy. I don't know why they don't see it. And I know Van House is going to agree with me. Van, former Studley, DB at Kentucky. Who else calls you Studley? Your wife doesn't call you Studley, does she?
This is governed by FCC, right? So I'm not going to say what she calls me. But you had me.
Hey, wait a second, that was pretty good.
You had me, Alan. You had me until you said I was going to agree with you. So now I can't agree with you.
Now, just be honest. No.
I can't agree with you.
Well, no. You should be honest. If you want to agree with me, because it's real, great. And if you want to disagree with me, great. Just be real.
No, I'm going to say it like this. If you listen to or watch The Locker Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself and Anthony White, you would know that we both said that your starting running back would be Seth McGowan and your backup would be Wilcox, and then Patterson and Dante Dowdell would be your short yardage guy. The problem is Dante became your backup guy when he should have been only your short yardage guy. You can't take carries away from Seth, but you could take carries away from Dante. And I agree with you that one of those two guys should have got more snaps. And since the other guy is gone, Patterson should have gotten way more snaps, more than a season. When Seth taps his head and say, I'm tired, I'm not running 100%, Patterson should have been the one going in, not Dante.
I agree.
Wow, that's great. Man, this must be Halloween. This must be a crazy day, because for you to agree with me and for me
I agree with you every time that it's legitimate, which is a lot more than you care to admit.
Okay, that's fair.
And you know what? And you brought up a sensitive point, not with you and me, but I have wondered in some of their decisions that when you bring in a guy like Dowdell, I'm being serious, by the way, that because he's getting paid, you have to put him in front of Patterson. For example, you paid Zach whatever the heck you paid him. And to me, Cutler should have been the quarterback for the get-go. This whole thing, as we've talked about, and I've said ad nauseum about how Stoops with his BS lie saying it was competition. It wasn't. You can never, I don't care what team you're on, you can't have competition if one guy's with the number twos. You only have competition if you split the number ones equally and the number twos equally and then decide. It was an absolute lie by Mark Stoops. If he was standing there, I would say the same thing, and he can grouse at me. I mean, come on. Just because I didn't play the game, I know how this stuff works. It was a lie to make the kid feel good, and I don't like that crap. And I wonder if Zach got the job because he came here because he thought he would start. Otherwise, why would he come here? He's going to be 85 years old and 40 years of college football. Nice. He's going to be 25, seventh year, all that kind of stuff. But I don't blame the kid. He had to go someplace where he could start. And this was a second-tier guy, and it didn't work out. But I wonder if they kind of knew that Cutler was the guy, and they were pushing him aside, thinking he waited another year when he should have been the guy all along. And do they make decisions because of money like a lot of businesses do?
Well, that's an interesting one that I go back and forth with, because Cutler, with Zach, yes, it was definite, because that's the only way you can get a quarterback and come in. That's the only way.
Wait a second. Then you're saying what I think, but I don't know, that you basically promised the kid the starting job to get him here, because his agent probably said he probably had other choices, whether the schools as good as Kentucky or maybe lower level.
Whatever.
Probably lower level to start. And they probably said, to get you here, we will promise you the starting job as long as you can hold it. And you're going to say, we're not going to just give you a little chance and stuff like that. Otherwise, he might have ended up in Toledo or something like that. And I don't blame the kid. And I don't blame his agent. Don't blame it at all. But it's BS because you're not being open and honest with fair competition. Whoever the best player is, and I don't care if he's from Lexington, I don't care if he's from Timbuktu. Whoever, I don't care if he's white, I don't care if he's black, I don't care if he's yellow, I don't care if he's purple, I don't care if he's short, I don't care if he's fat. The best player should play. Period. And enough of this crap with politics and money.
Well, if you're in, unfortunately, you're not in the great state of Louisiana, because we're dealing with politics and money and sports again. But here's the deal. Is I know that it's recency bias, but this whole politics and coaches doing stuff has been happening probably before I was playing, but definitely when I was playing. If you have, for example, when I was being recruited, Coach Archer was at Virginia. Coach Archer was recruiting the Barber brothers, and as he said it, they had to recruit in-state guys before they went to out-of-state guys. So guess what? I didn't get to be on the Virginia recruiting list because of that reason.
Really?
When he comes to Kentucky, guess what? It's his guys now, and he has kind of, I don't want to say carte blanche, but he can say, oh, I want to bring in these guys. I never got a letter from, you know what? Now that I think about it, I never got a letter from Kentucky. Because
really?
Once Archer got there, it was late in the game. Yeah, it's crazy. So this whole thing of, I know guys whom I played with in high school against, or played with in Little League, that when they went to a certain institution, that the certain guys played before them and they were obviously better, and people know on the team that they were better, but there was other reason. Now you just add money into it, now it's a different thing. But here's the deal. There were guys at wide receiver that we brought in. Stellato, he's not playing in front of guys all the time. Like J.J. Hester didn't start off as a starter when he got here. You have Wilbely, the center from West Kentucky. I know they had to pay him money. He didn't become the starter. Now, there are certain key positions where, like this, coaches have leverage now, right? Quarterback, running back, and a number one receiver has leverage. They can say, look, if you really want me, I'm not coming here to be a backup. I'm coming here to start. And the reason why I'm coming here is because why would I leave the place I was at to leave, to go somewhere else? Because I was a starter there. I was going to be a starter this season. Why would I leave? So I want to be a starter. I want to have more limelight or go against better competition, but I'm not coming here to be a backup. This is not new, but money is involved. That makes it a little bit different because money is involved. But it's been like this since at least 93.
The kid from Western Kentucky, I believe, got a lot more money to come here without a promise of starting. And the money was enticing enough, my understanding, and if I'm wrong, some deep throat inside UK football texts me that I'm wrong. He wasn't guaranteed the starting job, but he came anyway. I think there are some kids, as you're alluding to, and I couldn't agree with you more. That hurts to say twice. And one of
Ooh, in less than 5 minutes.
Oh,
That's a rough day. It must be Halloween. Must be
That's
Halloween.
what it is. I think there's a push and pull. What you can do to an offensive lineman who comes from a smaller school and what you can do with a quarterback are two different things. Plus, the kid from Western isn't stupid. He saw all the guys that were brought in. So he knew he might not start. He knew he might not start, but my understanding is it was enough money that he would say, let me fight for it and look at all the money I'm going to make.
That's interesting. And I see now, as a former player, that's an interesting dynamic because why would I leave a place I was starting? So now I'm not getting any reps on tape for the NFL. Are these kids humble enough and aware enough to say, okay, I have no chance going to the NFL. Let me try to make as much money as I can before I leave? Because that's an interesting dynamic that he would leave a spot that he was a starter and not at a FCS situation. He's in a D1 school.
Oh, let's put this way. You can go to the NFL from Western Kentucky easily.
Exactly.
I don't think he thought he couldn't start. I believe he was told you will have a shot at starting.
Okay.
A legitimate shot at starting. If I didn't explain that properly.
No, you did. But he was a starter, though.
He had a guaranteed starting spot at Western.
Exactly.
There was no guaranteed. Okay, let me play a little game here. I don't know what he's making. I'm throwing out nebulous numbers. I have no idea if I'm doing it for argument's sake. Let's say he was making $50,000 at Western Kentucky. Wouldn't you think that's a lot of money for Western Kentucky?
I don't know, but that sounds like a lot of money for me.
Okay, me too. Let's say he was making, again, I'm just throwing BS numbers. And then let's say that Kentucky, they're not going to pay him $1 million to come here. But
I hope not.
No, but let's say they paid him $125,000, $150,000 for a guy that would be either a starter or a backup. Let's say it was $200,000. I can't imagine it's more than that. The point is, the difference in the two sums might be great enough to say, I'm ready to start here. I think I can start here and look at all that extra money, and that can set me up in the future.
Yeah, I hear you.
Do I think there's some of that going on? I do. I think the quarterback is totally different. You're talking about the damn quarterback.
Yeah, I hear you. There is a number that will definitely make me leave. But in my estimation, if I know I'm gonna start, I want as much tape on film as I can. And I already play with these guys. I know these guys. I got friends on this team. I'm playing with my buddies. I know the coaching staff, unless the coaching staff change at Western. I don't know. There's a level of comfort. There's a level of loyalty. And I'm going to start. And I know I can make it to the NFL regardless of where I'm at. I might stick it out at Western knowing that I'm going to start than to come to a space where I don't know the staff, I don't know the players, and not guaranteed to start. The NFL is the ultimate goal. And the more reps you get, the higher likelihood of you getting there. And for me to skip a whole year, unless he's young, I don't know what age he is, but whatever age he is, if he's not a freshman or sophomore, that's a hard one for me. So, but I understand money does. Hey,
all I'm saying is,
grab your money, young man. Grab your money.
I don't know the particulars, honestly, but I do believe there's a caste system that nobody is treated equally. And if you're talking about a quarterback versus what might be a secondary offensive lineman.
For sure.
Because when you look at the numbers when they came in, I don't have to be an offensive line coach to look at this and say, he's probably not going to start. You know, and had Burton failed, and he's having a really good year, and I'm really happy for it. And Burton failed, he would have been the starter. And based upon how Burton played 2 years ago, he probably would have been the starter.
Yeah.
So, and then Burton just took control of the position. Okay, it's too much of that one. I'm just saying there's a caste system. Nothing is equal. Quarterbacks are treated differently. A star wide receiver is treated differently. A star tailback is just treated differently.
For sure.
Let's get on to something else. I'm calling this the fireball.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you.
You disagree?
I mean, yes. That's a great headline. I don't think we have talked about this for at least last week. I think the last 2 weeks.
Except for one thing. Hang on, I got to stop you. Things change from week to week. People.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't think. I don't think in this situation it's changing.
Okay,
I don't think Stupid's coming back. I just don't. So, but
hang on, I got to stop you for a second. Hang on, and then I promise to shut up so you can answer. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Please. But because these kids haven't quit, which I respect tremendously. They quit against Louisville last year. These kids haven't quit. I applaud them. And I applaud Stoops, by the way. Well, all the crap going on with Stoops that he brought on himself, not all of it. Mitch didn't help him, but we're not going on that tangent now. But with all the stuff going on, his kids are still playing hard for him and they're playing hard for each other. I respect that. So do you tremendously. So suppose they beat Auburn. Okay, then you could beat Florida, who has more talent than they've shown, and you're not in your head to agree. And dear Lord, if you win those two games and you can't beat Tennessee Tech, I don't care that they're undefeated and scoring 1 million points. Then you really suck. And now you're at 5. Okay, now hang on a second. I've covered enough Kentucky-Louisville games to know that the best team doesn't always win. And if these kids feel really good about themselves going into the Louisville game, you can't tell me that there's no way they can't win. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that. So I know this is a long shot, and I'm not predicting it. But if they go to a bowl game, how the hell can you fire them? Because then you can say, well, guess what? It was really bad, and they've turned this sucker around, and good for Stoops and whatever. And I wonder if Mitch is trying. Mitch will never talk to me, and I get that. I don't care, but I'm just being honest about it. I'm saying I have no inside information with this particular thing. But I wonder, after you've been here as long as Stoops said, he's giving him the benefit of the doubt to say, okay, we won't decide to make a change. We won't at all until this is mathematically done.
I'm going to just say this. And I said this, I think I said on your show, is that if you wanted him gone when they were 2-4, if you want them going when they were 2-2 after they lost to South Carolina, you cannot all of a sudden change your mind now. If he was a bad coach week 3, week 4, he cannot be a good coach week 9, 10, 11. He just can't. Coaches don't change. So if you thought he was fireable a few weeks ago, you got to stand on that. I'm going to say this. I don't think he wants I don't think in his heart and soul, because he reads the headlines, someone is feeding it to him. He knows the temperature of a percentage of the fan base. He don't want to put himself, his coaches, or his players through this again. If they go out 6 or win 7 games, let's say, I honestly believe that is his sign to bow gracefully and not be fired and just resign.
He's not going to resign and walk away from the money.
No. There would be, you resign with a negotiation with a best thing for both parties. So you can't say fire. You don't want to be fired as a coach. You want to be amicably.
I think that's ridiculous. I would say, you know what? I'm going to continue coaching. You want to get rid of me? Give me a check and I'll leave. If not, I'm coaching next year. It's in paper. It's in writing.
No, you're right.
Commitment. You know what?
You're right.
And Jimmy Sexton ain't going to walk away from that kind of money because he's the toughest and best football coach negotiator ever. And if he gives in, now, he might have to do it because Stoops wants. If he gives if he gives in, the next coach says, how can I trust you? You got this for Stoops, and you gave in like one of my former cheap suits. There's no.
See, that's the whole thing you just said.
I'm telling you, if I'm Stoops, I would say, you want to get rid of me? Fine. $38 million, and it's 60 days. Now, you know what I might do? I might then say, okay, let's spread it out over a little time period to help things out. And I think there's a fairness there, even though it's in writing. Because if you really love this place, you spent how much of your adult life here? I think you give back by saying, okay, suppose you do it over 5 years or 6 years, or something like that.
Yes.
Me not to do that is a BS thing to do. And then if you're Sexton can then say, hey, I wanted him to take it all. He wanted to do this. I'm going to get you this, and if you change your mind as your agent, I will respect your wishes. But I didn't want to do it.
How? This must be Halloween. You just said what I was going to say perfectly in a New York accent. That was perfect. I applaud you. That was perfect. That's exactly what I'm saying. Man, I just saved my voice. Thank you. My voice feels better now because you just said, I just changed you. I came into your body and you were like, nope. Then like, nope, this is what can happen. I like
I got enough troubles with my own body. I don't want you in it.
So no, that's exactly what I can see happening. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I just can't see this, right? 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago plus, we went 7 wins and 7 wins, and people were out of their mind. Why would fans be happy with another 7-win season when in 2022 and 2023 they were not happy with 7-win seasons?
The bar's been lowered. And also,
because of the 4-8 season, one season.
Yeah. And so now you're raising a little bit. And the question is, and I think it'd be very difficult, can you sell that 4-letter word, the lovely 4-letter word, hope? If Cutler keeps on throwing, come on, he had 74% one game, was it 69 another? I got it in my notes somewhere. Okay, so yeah. You have something to sell. And when you have something to sell, people will often change their mind. And what did I just say to you about 5 minutes ago? You know, when you started saying, well, we talked about this last week, and what did I say to you? People change their mind from week to week. Well, fans are no different that way, and I'm not being negative at all. There'll be some people who say, I'm never going to a Kentucky game again. I've been going for 20 years. Until you get rid of Stoops, I'm never going to go. And you know what? Suppose you win 5 in a row, and somebody will, okay, I'm coming back. Okay, that son of a gun fooled me. Okay, I didn't realize he could turn it around. Okay. And a lot of people who would not buy season tickets again, we would. And I'm telling you, I know this from doing this forever. There's a lot of people who say, I'm never going to buy another season ticket again. And when push comes to shove, they end up buying them anyway. Not everybody. And I don't know what the percentage is, but I've had people come to me. I was so ticked off. And then 4 months later, they buy their tickets again. So it's human nature. I'm not being negative to anybody.
Well, so if that's the case, I need to get off Twitter, because here's the reason why. Because before the season started, we knew October was a rough month. So who expected us to win these 3 games anyway? So why you got all up in your feelings after losing these 3 games, and now all of a sudden you win the games that you were are winnable games for you? No, we're back on board. Because I'm going to tell you one thing, Mr. Cutler. Tell you one thing. You said the Louisville game. Has Stoops won a game he has not supposed to win in a large percentage of seasons since 2018? Yes. That Vandy game is a one I circle. That it's a perfect matchup. It's kind of like the Texas game, where things match up perfectly for them. They can beat Vandy. I think they can beat Vandy more than they can beat Louisville.
You know what's interesting? Who would have thought that I would ever say, is it possible that Vandy would take Kentucky lightly?
Oh, for sure. With Tennessee behind them, and they play somebody tough before us too. It's not.
Yeah, they're playing for a playoff spot now.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, like that Vandy matches, they play the same style of football we play. And if we get into like Texas game, we get into that fourth quarter where it's 14-17 or whatever it is, all you want to do is be in the game in the fourth quarter with a chance to win. In that Vandy game, we're going to have a chance to win.
Except for one little thing.
What's that?
Whatever that it factor.
Oh, Diego?
Pavia's got it.
Yeah, he does.
He's got that. And I'm telling you, you're going to tell me I'm nuts? I see him playing professional football next year, even if it's in Canada.
Oh, he's got us. Look, I don't care what anybody says.
Hang on, let me go one more. Okay. Just give me a yes or no if you agree with me. I'm setting you up. Does he have an accurate arm?
It's pretty accurate, yes.
Okay. Can he throw on the run?
For sure.
Okay. Does he have, I'm not saying the greatest velocity. No, stop it. Does he have good velocity that is a tight spiral and he gets the ball where guys need to catch it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want you to think about this because I'm pushing you. There were other guys who also weren't tall. And by the way, you see him in a T-shirt. He's really well built. He's really well, but he's a strong guy. There are other guys who didn't have his talent but came to bigger schools as Vandy become a bigger school who played in the NFL. Do I think he's going to be drafted in the high? No.
No.
Who wins the Heisman Trophy? He's not going to be drafted high. You're going to think I'm nuts. I really think he has a shot at playing pro football. I got one more, and I'm going to shut up, and I want you to think about this. Who was a better college quarterback, Bo Nix or Pavia?
Bo Nix. Now, who was a better quarterback?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm ashamed of you.
Yeah. Bo Nix was a better quarterback.
In college. In college.
Yeah. Yeah. Look.
Wow.
That's the great thing about Twitter is I can send you in my archive and show you the things I said about Bo Nix. Yes. Bo Nix played on a bad team at Auburn. Here's the thing. Kyler Murray is a starter and has been a starter in pro football, and he's 5'2". You cannot tell me Diego is not just as good as Kyler Murray. If Diego played at Oklahoma, he would get the hype Kyler Murray got.
Oh my gosh.
Diego is a pro quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback. He's not going to go in the NFL and be a 10-year starter. No. But if you draft Anthony Richardson on talent, he's a first-round draft pick. You cannot tell me you cannot draft Diego in the 5th round and put him on a team with that moxie and that swagger. He's going to make your team better. He is a pro quarterback. He's not a starter, but he's a pro quarterback for sure.
You know, I'm in pain now. You know what I was setting you up to do?
What's that?
I was setting you up to compare him to Kyle Murray, and you beat me to it.
Oh.
No.
Jeez.
The fact is we're thinking so much alike.
I mean,
it's...
You got Chase McDaniels. You have some quarterbacks who are not tall quarterbacks who have paved a career for them in NFL. If you're the right kind of teammate, like Chase McDaniels, you know how much Chase McDaniels has made and only started a handful of games?
I saw it a couple of years. It was ridiculous, but he's also the quarterback coach, per se.
Yeah, he's a smart kid. Right?
Yeah.
Diego got to find his path to lay down and become and stay a pro. Dude, I think you make almost $1 million as a pro now. It's like $700,000, $800,000. Let me be on a pro team.
No. You're way off. These backup quarterbacks are making tons more than that.
No, I'm talking about league minimum. League minimum is
no
800. So even if you make league minimum, you at least make it $800,000 as a backup.
I can see teams.
That's the minimum.
I could see teams where he could be a backup right away.
Yes.
And I could see teams. Okay, I love Hurts at Philadelphia. He's finally getting his due.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a great quarterback. If Pavia got on a team like that, distributing the ball, could he do something similar? I really do. Hurts is a much better quarterback than people really. He's tough and he's smart and he's calm. Okay, that's Pavia. Last thing, I got to go. Last thing that you're saying right now about Kentucky, you're passionate, that you haven't talked about, that you want to just say, Cutler. Hang on, if you don't have anything, give me something on Kenny Brooks starting the season, because I know you love the coach.
Just now you got me. Look, could this be the first time in school history where we have 2 teams in the Final Four? I think our girls team, if they stay healthy, is that good. I think they are being slept on in conference. I know South Carolina is the just automatic team to put as your favorite. And I know we got LSU. I know you got Texas. I know that. But I think this is the best roster that we have ever had at Kentucky basketball, women's basketball, ever.
Hey, hang on. Take a deep breath. I got to ask you a question.
I can't.
I'm when Valerie Still was here.
Yep.
For your time.
Yep.
Patty Jo Hedges was a great point guard. I went on TV and said she was a guy. She'd have been a first-round draft choice. She could throw a bounce pass 50 feet on the dead run for a fast break. There aren't people that are doing that today. Lee Wise could shoot. I'm trying to think of a couple of other. That was one hell of a team that tremendously underachieved. I'm not ready to say, because this is Val Still now.
Yeah, no.
And Strack is going to do some things similar to Valerie Still. Sorry, Val, it's true. Strack is unbelievable. She'll be even better and all that kind of stuff. Let's put it this way. Would it shock me if they have 2 teams in the Final Four? No, it would not. That Kentucky team with Val Still tremendously, I think, I'm not ripping them. They were great, but they underachieved. They had more talent than they played, and I'm not sure that they were better than this year's team. Not sure.
So I would say
fair or not.
So I would say, since my association with Kentucky basketball, the person that I am, and I said this last year, although Perova got hurt again, but Obi is gonna be a difference maker. And then you have all the Blue is going to probably have a better year than she had as a freshman.
bet she does.
This is they have not only they have a good starting four, they have bench players. This is gonna. I'm gonna have so much fun watching the women's basketball this year. I had fun last year with Georgia, but I think this team is going to be something, and I think they are going to. Look, this is my hot take. With all the good teams in this country, with LSU and Oklahoma and South Carolina, and Vandy, because Vandy has a stud, and Blakely as a probably All-American, they're going to make it to the SEC championship game.
Wow. I'm going to hold you on that. Hey, I got to run. Bless you. And I don't know if you need to take your rheumatism medicine or something, but you agreed with me way too much. And, I think the world of you, but I'm worried about you. Really quick, I'm really tight. Give a really nice plug for yourself quickly, please.
All right, VStyle17. I'm at VStyle17 on all social media platforms. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on X, The Locker 411 on X and YouTube, all other social media platforms. Join us Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there, be square. But that's I just showed my age with that statement. Be there.
That was really good, though. That was really good. That would have been a nice radio commercial. Hey, Van, bless you. I hope we get to talk next week.
You have a good one, of course.
Okay, see you, man. Van, you're the best. He's the best. Jimmy, we agree too much. Is it me or him who needs help? What do you think?
No, it's fine to every now and then. Now, if you guys go 2, 3, 4 times on the show agreeing on everything, then yeah, one of you might need to.
Actually, it's been like that, but he doesn't want to admit it. We agree almost all the time, by the way. I think he just can't admit it. I hope he's still listening, because if I'm going to give a shot, I want him to hear it, because I think he's laughing. He's got to be laughing. No question about it. Has to be laughing. No laughing matter when you go to Terry Page. Oh, she helped me yesterday. 859-373-0578. 859-373-0578. Great licensed massage therapist, the healer in Butler, Kentucky on Monday and Tuesdays. In Lexington, the rest of the week, she's going to have a new location, and we will talk about that next week. But Terry Page, she is spectacular. 859-373-0578. Special. So is Blue Lotus Health. 859-533-0914. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist, acupuncture. Blue Lotus Health on Versailles Road. 859-533-0914. Ramon Carriega, a special dude. He's helped me tremendously. He's really smart. I mean, really, really smart. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. Aaron Gashan coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quattro family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank, time to thrive. Member FDIC.
What are you doing? I'm getting ready for Halloween. Well, it looks like your costume's ready, but what about your candy?
Well, you know, Dad and Uncle Rick, at Clark's Pepper Shop, we have some spooky deals. All month long, you can pick up 5-hour energy shots, 2 for $4.99. Rollerblade sticks, buy one, get one free.
No tricks, all treats this October. Large Pump and Shop, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Monday through
There you are. I didn't see it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
instead of playing faster and patient, and it sounds contradictory, but that's exactly what happened. I was starting to come to some scheme and physicality. She got slow and impatient.
welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 90. You know what? Hang up on him. He's got this suntan and he's got the palm trees behind him, or coconut trees, or whatever the heck it is.
They're palm trees. They're just palm trees.
Okay, I don't like it, whatever the heck it is. And you got a beautiful sky around you. I'm so jealous. Aaron Gashon, formerly of
the Cat's Paws, of course.
And now?
Sports information director at New College of Florida. So, it's 70 degrees. I promised myself I wasn't going to become one of the people. Like, my mom moved here. My mom's a New Yorker, grew up in New York, lived there her entire life. And she moved down here 3 years ago. And she complains when it's 70 degrees and she's cold. And I was like, I'll never be that. Well, it's 68 degrees and I'm a little cold. So I'm adapting quick.
I normally saying this with loving kindness. Shut up. Wow. Did you watch that great performance last night by Kentucky against Georgetown?
I wouldn't use the word great, but I watched it.
You can tell a little facetiousness on my part.
Just a tad.
Yeah. I don't, I want your take. I just want to throw this out briefly, if I can do anything briefly. I don't think any less or more of this team in the last 48 hours. They stunk out the joint. They got the crap beat out of them last year against Ohio State. They had 3 starters out. Aberdeen is a physical monster. I really believe that. And Diabate, he had his 13-7. I mean, look, you play with what you have and stuff like that. They were nervous. They shot quickly. They didn't set their feet on shots. They made bad decisions. I mean, there's a long list of things they didn't do well. But if they played Transy last night, they would have won by 45 or 50. Sorry, Transy. And you wouldn't have seen the things that Chandler did wrong on tape, and it probably would happen down the road. So I have teaching tools. I got one more, and I'm pushing Chandler on purpose. He had 7 freaking rebounds last night. So as bad as he was with the 5 turnovers, as bad as he was with indecisiveness, as bad as he was, the only 3 he made, it's the only time he calmly set his feet. As bad as he was, I love the kid. He had a bad game. Who the hell cares? Why are these people going crazy? He's going to play pro ball and make more money than 99% of the people within the sound of my voice, maybe 99.9, whatever, including me. Who the heck are we kidding? And so he had a bad game. One more. Tony Delk, before your time as a freshman, he can't play point guard. What are you going to do? And Tony was upset. We thought about leaving the whole thing. What kind of career did he have here? I think of Tony, the shot he hit falling out of bounds in the national championship game against Syracuse. That's the Tony I remember. He had a crappy first year, played it forever in the NBA, made a fortune, over 50 points in the game. People getting down on these kids after one exhibition game, which is brilliant that they're finally doing this way. As stupid as the NCAA is, because they should have done this 50 freaking years ago. The NCAA, they just suck so bad. This was great for Georgetown. This was great for Kentucky. You get to learn. It's beautiful. And I think last night was good for Kentucky. They got their ass knocked down. So what? That's sports. So what do you think of the team?
Yeah, they got both ends of the spectrum, right? Where they get the high of beating the preseason number 1, which I don't know how much stock I'd really ever take into the preseason poll, but that Purdue team ain't the best team in the country when you watch some of the others in exhibition play. But besides the point, right? You get the high of that, you get the confidence jolt that gives you, and then you go get the crap kicked out of you by like you said, a not transy, like you're not playing a game where you play like crap and you win by 50 anyway, which we've seen even like toward the end. And this is not a cow shot at all. This is just what they were dealing with before the NCAA allowed these great games. Like you remember, I think Georgetown, they played a game, Georgetown College, just up the road. They were up by 1 at half, I believe. They played a game against Missouri Western that had a couple of former Kentucky assistants, on that staff, where they won kind of ugly by 18. Like, those games are gross and you don't learn that much. Where yesterday was gross, but you learn a lot. You learn what you need to work on. Look, Colin Chandler, I agree with you. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a good player. I just think I don't know if his future is at point guard, but he had to play it out of necessity last night. And so he probably, I don't know how much he worked on it in the offseason. You bring in Aberdeen, you bring in Lowe, they're both down. Like, I don't put too much stock in either results. I think this team is incredibly deep. I still worry a little bit about the shooting. Not that I think they're going to take shots. I just don't know if they have any elite shot makers like they did last year. That part worries me, but I still think they're going to be a much better defensive team, especially when Aberdeen and Lowe are in there. I think Aberdeen's an excellent defender, and he was sorely missed last night. So, I still think this team defensively, rebounding wise, rim protection wise, is much better than last year's. Offensively, maybe not the same prowess shooting the ball, but I still think has plenty of dudes that can get buckets and they could score plenty of points. So I'm not too worried about it really. And I wasn't like ready to call them the national champs after Purdue either. These games don't count, but they're better measuring sticks than playing a D2 or D3 or whatever.
I look at it this way. I have no idea if Chandler will ever become a point guard. I'm not predicting it, and he doesn't have to be.
No.
Doesn't have to be. I would guess no, but people do improve. But the point is, he got 7 rebounds from the point guard slot for most of the time. Sure, the 5 turnovers were terrible, and he was indecisive at times, and he didn't set his feet. And he's a kid that usually takes his time and has a pretty quick release. He had a bad game. You know what? If this was a real game tied at his career high, I love the kid. And I don't get people down on me. I don't care if he never plays point again. It could care less. He's a basketball player. He's got a great feel. He's got great hands. He's got a great sense of what's going on. So some of the negativity I almost find humorous. By the way, I said this in the monologue. You were probably working. Jack Goose Gibbons on the post-game show said that Jasper and Malachi Marino, the way they played last night, and he's not being mean, and he was just trying to, I think, take pressure off him, said that last night they needed a seeing eye dog.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, and that's after both of them looked like they were ready to be one and dones against Purdue, right? I mean, that's the great thing about this preseason slate, where you play 2 D1 opponents. You play one, again, who's the preseason number 1, agree with it or not. You play a Georgetown team that, they're an unranked team that has been, the program's been down for a long time, but those guards were pretty legit. I think, in the Big East, where there's obviously UConn and St. John's teams to beat. Marquette, Creighton, they're always good. But that Georgetown team, Ed Cooley's a really good coach. It was never going to be a quick fix there with how big of a mess was left behind. So, year 3 for Cooley, clearly some of the pieces are a little better. And then Kentucky, again, they were not an excuse, but I guess it is an excuse in the preseason where you're playing without both your point guards. And then they just had a bad night. And those 2 guys looked like freshmen. And that's okay. They're going to look like freshmen at times. So even the greatest freshmen in Kentucky history, many of which played here in the last 15 years when Cal was here, had games where they looked like freshmen and they looked like they looked nowhere near to be ready to play this level of college basketball. It's going to happen. You rather get it out of your system before the clock turns to November than it happening in February, March.
Hey, the kid who had the worst game was Cam Williams. Great shooter. 0 for
He's
5.
the one guy who's looked just consistently rough.
Yeah. And you know what? Some draft board had him listed in the first round at number 21 a few weeks ago, which made no sense to me, because I'm just saying, I said on the air then, how the hell is he going to play enough to get to number 21? And by the way, am I down on the kid? No, he's going to have to get comfortable. Don't you think there's a lot of these kids who are saying the same thing that they said last year? Oh my gosh, I'm playing at Kentucky.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, especially a guy like Cam Williams, right, where he was never, I think he was a 3-star high school recruit. He was never this blue chip recruit. He went to Tulane for his first year. He's from, I think, Lafayette, Louisiana. So, didn't play very, very high level high school basketball, prep basketball, wasn't like on any of these elite AAU teams like some other guys were. Plays his freshman year at Tulane, like, nothing against Tulane, but definitely nothing near Kentucky, nothing near the crowd sizes, nothing like that. And now you're in the pressure cooker and you're in your first, real opportunity playing in it. So it's going to take some time. I mean, that kid, what's Cam, the thing that he needs to bring, and we'll see, hopefully he can do it. It's very early again, but he's kind of the one guy where I was just talking about, hey, I'm a little worried they don't really have knockdown shooters. Well, if there was one guy who shot really well from three at a high volume last year, it was him. Now, again, it was at Tulane that the defenses he went up against weren't anything like he's going to see in the SEC, and probably weren't even what he saw against both Purdue and Georgetown. But that's a guy they need. That I don't know how much of a role he's going to have, but when you have those question marks just from a knockdown 3-point shooter standpoint, that's a key piece. They got to get rolling, but it's so early, and I know they have some really important games right off Jump Street, but it's so early. You can't count the kid out or in yet.
Would it surprise me if Cam Williams becomes a valuable player off the bench by January? No. Am I predicting it? No.
Exactly.
He's going to keep on playing like this? No. I mean, Jasper Johnson looked like he was just looking for a shot and rushed some things. Okay, big deal.
And he looked like Rob Dillingham a week ago. Like, it's just, that's what's going to happen. There's ebbs and flows.
You know, the pressure today has amplified so much, as everybody knows, with social media.
Yes.
It's gotten past the point of being unfair. It's much worse than unfair. It's obtuse. It's ridiculous. It's just
it's nonsense.
Ridiculous. Nonsense is about the cleanest word you can use.
Man, we're on radio, right?
Yeah. Okay. So let's throw this, as we got just about a minute and a half left.
Yeah.
I'm calling tomorrow for Kentucky Auburn the Fire Bowl.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, I think both of these coaches are done. I don't know when it's going to happen. I think both need to hurry up because of, all the changes in college football. The portal now, I think, doesn't open until January, so there's that. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen on Kentucky's side. Like, it's really hard to read Mitch Barnhart on this. And, I think money-wise, that'll take care of itself. It's really hard to read both Barnhart. I think Stoops is ready. Like, I've said that all year. I think when we talked last time, before this thing really even got off the rails, it just sounds like he's ready to be done. So, we'll see if it happens after this Saturday. I wouldn't be surprised, if it drags out a little longer. But yeah, it seems like the loser of this game. If it's Auburn, I think if Auburn loses this game at home to Kentucky, Halloween weekend, night game at Jordan-Hare, Hugh Freeze will have a pink slip on his desk by Sunday. No question. Stoops, I'm not so sure.
Might be Saturday night. I don't think John Cohen would do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it might be.
He would.
He might fire him on the field like Herm Edwards got fired on the field a couple of years ago.
Isn't it crazy that Herm Edwards is going to be known for that? So you're like me. I think this basketball team can be special. Like a lot of basketball teams, they're in the basket of what could be one of the best teams in the country, and I haven't changed, and neither have you.
I'm not ready. I think the potential is there. I'm not after 2 preseason games. Yes, good test. I'm not ready to call them the national champion frontrunner. I'm not ready to say this season's going to be a disaster. Let's reconvene after some of the first big regular season games in November. We'll have a little bit of a better feel, but even then, it's going to take some more time. So, we'll see. I will say the one thing, if I have a second here, if there's one thing to be a little concerned about, and I don't know how much stock I even put into it because you had Denzel and Jalen out again. But last year, the biggest criticism I think that was like actually justified was how they would have these big performances. Like they'd go to Tennessee and win, and they lay an egg the next game. Like you remember, I think the best example of it even is early January when they went and they beat the eventual national champions. They've put up 110 points or whatever in that game. And then they go to Georgia, who, they ended up being a tournament team, but they were not very good. Like that's a Georgia team they should have beat. They just laid a stinker. That worries me a little when you have the high of beating number 1 and then you come home and lose to Georgetown. But again, it's preseason, and we'll see how that takes shape when we get into, the thick of their schedule.
That's a fair comment. And could it be, and it was around last night, did they take him lightly? And if that's true, maybe they.
And that was an issue for Pope at BYU too. So that's the one thing, there's a lot to love about Pope, but that's one thing that was an issue, it was last year at BYU when they were playing in the Big 12, and then it was certainly an issue last year. So that's the one thing I'm keeping an eye on. But otherwise, the results, they are what they are. They don't even count. They're 0-0.
Very fair. Always good to hear your voice.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
so happy that you're enjoying the sunshine of Florida.
I appreciate it.
Hey, it's good hearing your voice and good just talking sports with you, dude.
Absolutely, anytime.
Bless your brother, and hope we talk down the road. And I'm jealous.
Right back at you. Come visit anytime.
Okay, man. Hey, thanks. Aaron
Yeah.
Gershon, formerly the Cat's Paws. He's great. He really is rubbing it in, wasn't he? Wasn't he rubbing it in?
Yeah, he is. When I FaceTime with my parents that still live down in Florida, they do it every single time. They're always outside. Doesn't matter what time it is when you FaceTime them. You have to show off.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
I tell you, there's nothing funny about this because they're special. Elliott Services. Check them out. Check them out. 859-255-5788. Need something done electrical? Wow. They're the people to turn to. Thanks to my friend Chuck Ely, who took care of me years ago and needed something again. When somebody does something good, you call him. And guess what? Chuck sent a crew over, young people. They were wonderful, clean, polite. Elliott Services, 100% employee owned. Wish more companies would do that. Residential heating and air conditioning services, including installation, maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Home generated services, including anything from sales to repairs, whatever. Home electrical handyman services include outlet repairs, lighting, upgrades, repairs, service, whatever. EV charger installation and maintenance. That's what we needed. And our system was a mess. And they fixed it. Heating and air preventative maintenance programs, voice data, Wi-Fi solutions, underground utility service and installation of traditional heat pump, split system, HVAC systems, electrical renovations and fit-ups, fix-up, obviously, whatever you need. Elliott Services, 859-255-5788. 859-255-5788. Have a blessed weekend. Everything's going to be okay with Kentucky basketball. It's going to be just fine. They got some fixing to do. It's all good. Jimmy, have yourself a great weekend. And you know what? Did I not mention till now? We started this show 3 years ago today. We've done 3. Did I not mention it the whole show?
I don't remember. I know you mentioned it the last couple of days. You might, maybe at the very beginning, maybe not.
I don't think I did.
Happy 3 years.
Thank you. Happy 3 years that you have survived me, Jimmy. 3 years, 3 years, 3 years. I know we're late. Got to say thank you to Lynn Martin. Thank you to LM Communications. And thank you for everybody inside that building puts up with me. And thank you for you all telling friends about the show as this thing is growing and growing and growing. Thanks to you. I appreciate everyone who listens. Have yourself a great